when we're done. Hey,
Okay.
Facebook family, YouTube subbies, what's up? What's up? Welcome to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks Special Edition. In addition to this being a special edition, I've got a special guest. I'm going to block him out for just a minute, but I've got a special guest joining me tonight. And I'm really excited to share with you what I've been doing with my special guest, and tell you a little bit about who he is. And I'm not gonna get into a whole lot of who he is. I'm gonna let him do that stuff for himself. But I just need to take care of some house cleaning stuff. You know what I'm doing. Sharing this on my other Facebook pages, making sure it's public so that you guys can also share it. Create a watch party, hashtag tell a friend, do all of that. This is going to be something that I think you won't want to miss. So, good evening, Laura Goff. Hey, Mo, Bernard, what's up? I appreciate you guys being the first through the door. Hello, Joseph and Lionel. You like that picture? I appreciate you, sir. Um, yeah, so listen, can you see what I'm wearing, you guys? I've been in the lab again with the t-shirt fairy, and this is what we've been working on. And I'll tell you, um, as I introduce my guest, what inspired me to us to come up with this. We're just days out from an election, and I want to do something to encourage, empower, and maybe just remind you guys that this is a group effort, right? It takes a village. And so let me bring on for you tonight, because I'm done with my housekeeping and I want my guests to do the same thing. Welcome, guests. Hello, you're on.
Well,
If
hello
you
there.
if you haven't already, please do. It's on my timeline on Facebook. You can go there, share this with your Facebook family and friends, create a watch party, and invite them all over to come and see what's going on tonight and what we're talking about and what this special report is all about. So, family, let me just real quick introduce you to my guests. Hey, Skid Row Ranger, what's
Hey,
up?
what's happening, Queen Nazinga?
I'm saying hello to my family. Oh, that's a nice shirt. You like the shirt? Okay, well, listen. Let me just tease you. I've got on a crew neck. This little gem is in a hoodie, a t-shirt, and a crew neck. And I want to talk about it tonight. This is my partner in crime over here, this guy, Jamie. Say hello to Jamie, family. And I'm going to let Jamie tell you who he is, and then I will tell you why we're here tonight. Jamie, who are you?
Well, first, I'm a black man. No, let's go. Let's be serious. I would like to say that I'm Jamie Brewer. I'm a former, I've been a professional musician most of my life, 35 years. Former bass player for the Fabulous Whispers for 12 years, and lots of other legendary artists, Howard Hewitt, you name it, a lot of 70s old school artists.
What
But
instrument do you play, Jamie? Because I'm learning this too. What
I'm a
instrument?
bass player.
Bass. Oh, I like that. Not the
Yeah,
big stand-up bass, but the
yeah,
that
no, 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 yeah, all that,
Okay.
pretty dead, all that stuff. But yeah, that's my professional career. But I'm also a foster parent of youth, white and black, and specializing in our black youth.
Where?
And
Where are you doing that, Jamie?
in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I get to experience um, what you would say is pre-racism that happens in our young white youth, and I get to see the effects of it on our young black youth as well. And I try to be a go-between to explain them what that's all about. And so what was really inspired me is you put up something on one of your, you put up the emblem and of the Proud Boys.
You
And
guys
I
know
said,
what this
wait a
emblem
minute.
is?
Yeah,
Can you guys see?
that's what I'm talking about
Let
right
me
there.
stand up. Let me stand up. Can you guys see?
I'm so
Um,
jealous.
can you see this? So tell them how this came to be, Jamie. What happened? We were talking mess on Facebook like
What?
we do, right?
We was talking crap. And then you posted, look at this damn emblem. And I said, what? Stand up, stand back. And then you said, no. You said stand. I said, what about standing black? And then you said, what about standing up? And I said, bingo. And so I inboxed you right away and said, let's do this. Let's do this. Because you know what it is? It's like visual warfare. When you see that, it sends a message. It's a virtual message that says three things. We ain't scared. That's what it says, you know, and Black people have made it and survived through so much that we need something like this that's very subtle. It's kind of like what John Lewis was saying, you know, don't be afraid to get into a little good trouble. So this is kind of like good trouble, you know. So when I get mine, somebody got hers already, but when I get mine, I plan on wearing mine almost every day if I can.
In
Of course, I'm
Georgia.
gonna
That
wash
should
it,
be
but
fun, right?
yeah. Oh, that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be writing stories. But the main reason is when at the polling booths, that's where I want to make guest appearances. And just imagine what would happen if if Black people throughout the world, and even white people too, they're supporting, if they can support Black Lives Matters, they can support this as well. But we can go and we can show up at the polling stations and not say a word and just wear these shirts, these hoodies, sweatshirts, whatever. And it sends a strong message that we're not scared. You know, we're going to combat racism. We're not going to allow Trump to continue to trample on our rights for another 4 years. We're going to make a difference. And
That's
this
the
is
one
an
that shall
opportunity
remain
to
nameless.
make a difference.
We don't utter his name here, sir. That's the one that shall remain nameless.
Oh, yeah. Tink, tink. Is that okay?
Yeah, little tink tink. My family know who you're talking
Tink,
about
tink.
when you say little tink tink.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So I'm excited. I've always wanted to do something like this and didn't know what I was going to do to be instrumental in change for our people, and which contributes to the world. So this is an opportunity, and I'm excited about it. No matter what, I'm really excited about it.
And you know, it's so funny because this social media thing is really can be very amazing because I've never met Jamie in person, but he's like my brother from another mother now, right? I'm
Yes,
like,
that's right.
right?
That's right.
We have just been yakking it up on the phone and commiserating and trying to come up with things that we could share and do and help
Yes.
each other, help you, help me, help you. And so this whole idea of the stand black and stand up, you know, we're days from an election. And there's a lot, you know, my subbies, you guys are kind of rowdy, but you guys have been, some of you have been all caught up in your feelings about my comments on the Ice Cube situation. And this is a time where all of the stuff you guys are talking about, we as a people need to do, should have been doing 4 years ago. We should have been doing it. And some of y'all talking about doing it like it's going to happen next week. So I'm saying, let's start right now. Let's start right now for the next 4 years, because whoever wins this election is you know, maybe or maybe not so much concerned about the things that we're concerned about. So all of you who say we need our own party and we need to this and we need to that, stand black and stand up, right?
Yes.
Start making that happen for us now, right? For us now. And that was kind of the nexus, the genesis, if you will, for stand black and stand up. We got to stand up. We can't keep sitting around and waiting on anybody. You know, be they rich, be they poor, be they black, be they white. We have to be the captains of our own ship. And I have a saying that I say to my cubs, and I I always say nobody is better to me than me, and I never let me down. And that's a fact. And
I
I
love
think
it.
each and every one of you should have that same mantra. Nobody can be better to you than you. And that means looking out for number one, right? In the animal kingdom, self-preservation, right? That's the law of the land. And so we can't sit around and wait on a millionaire, gazillionaire, no matter what color he is, to fix stuff for us. There's so much that we can do right within our own little sphere. You
Absolutely.
can get engaged and get involved. And so these are the kinds of things that we had been talking about amongst ourselves. And I know, Jamie, that you're doing some of that stuff already there in Atlanta. So talk a little bit about, what you see going forward in terms of what
In
might
regards
be a
to,
couple of quick steps, just because listen, this big old elephant, we're not going to be able to eat this damn thing even in 4 years. So, baby steps.
right.
What can we do to better our
Well,
circumstances, address our quality of life issues, stand up? What does that look like to you?
yes. Well, stand up to me means like being willing to face every challenge that comes your way, and no longer submit to anything that has caused us to be taken advantage of in the past. We have stood up through the civil rights movement. We have stood up through every change. Jim Crow, we've stood up through that. We stood up through slavery. And basically what we've said is that we're not going to allow you to enslave us mentally or physically. So what we can do is we have to, first of all, I think research on our history is so extremely important, because that will embolden you to feel empowered, that when Black people stood up in the past, that we were able to come together and make a difference through the worst of times. And so if we want to prevent from standing for dealing with another 4 years of someone whose intention is to trample on the rights of Black people, then we need to make a personal commitment that we are going to stand up in some way. We can pick our own way to do that, but we need to figure out a way to stand up. Me personally, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be instilling in youth the importance of learning your history, the right history, doing your research, and understanding that you are kings, you are queens, and that you weren't slaves, you were enslaved. And I want to encourage them to be productive in that area of their lives, and I want to be able to help them and be available to them should they have questions, issues in school, issues with friends, and just understanding our history and how that we can make a new history by voting. And because I deal with I deal with teenagers, and I deal with young men as well. And so it's important that they understand the importance that this vote is going to be, because it's really a matter of life and death. When you understand what we have to lose with another 4 years of Trump, or tink. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's so funny because I had a lot of people who, well, not a lot, but a few people on my YouTube channel, my subbies, because when you're anonymous and you behind a keyboard, you get all Billy Badass and stuff, and they were like, "You need to grow up. You're immature, and quit calling that man Tink Tink." So I knew that those were the Russian bots, right? Those were the trolls, because for every Black person who may not agree with what I had to say about Ice Cube, I don't think there's any Black people that are really bothered by me calling Lil Tink Tink, Lil Tink
Right.
Tink. I don't utter his name. And so, I'm a grown ass woman, and I get to talk how I want to. For those of you who are bothered by
Yes, and their agreement isn't
him.
required.
Well, then there's that. See, there's that. If they just understood that part, then everything would be all right.
Would be all right. So, I'm really excited about this, because I know that eyebrows are going to be raised. And I know that people are going to be curious about what this means too, as well. And, it's really just it's a response. It's not a threat, and it's not about mutual terror. It's about mutual respect. So we ain't talking about, these shirts are not about kill Whitey. This is standing up for our rights as Black people. That's what it's about. And to
It really
be,
has nothing to do with them. I mean, this is not even about you.
yeah.
In a real way, it's not even about you. Be clear.
No, not at all. And so I'm really, I want to try to bring as many people in on this as possible to really make a statement. And just imagine a statement that can be made to visually see that, even if one other person has it, and saying that we're unifying. And this is a way to unify, which is one of the main things we have to do. We have no choice.
Right.
Unify or die.
I can't help but wonder if some of this, because I don't believe that everybody who's piping up on social media with regards to the Ice Cube situation. I know there were articles that were written, and I even used the title of one where they said, he wasn't playing chess, he was playing poker and badly. And then there was a lot of comments. Now, I don't know who wrote the article, but my point is that I think this bickering amongst us about him is part of it, right? It's meant to be divisive, and it's meant to, because the truth of the matter is, and I don't really engage folks because I don't even know who you are. I have no idea who you are, and so it's not unreasonable to think, they've certainly told us that through intelligence, that there were people during the previous election who were using pictures of Black people, creating social media platforms, and then trying to speak like us to get us all backbiting. And so I think we need to be cognizant of that, and we need to come together. And, we don't have to agree, but we don't have to be disagreeable in all of that, right?
I agree.
And let me say this, because I'm looking at some of the comments as we're talking, and I'll try to address some of them as my guest is speaking. And here's what I'd like for every person who brings a complaint about a thing, give me a solution, because it's real easy to sit back and say, I don't agree with that. And I know that there's a whole segment of y'all that don't vote, that are not gonna vote. I know there's a whole segment of no reparation, no vote. Good luck with that. Do your thing. I'm not trying to convince anybody, to vote or who to vote for. But if you think, Brandon, that voting doesn't get us anywhere, then, sir, what do you suggest? Because I'm about solutions. I'm about, let's fix this. So if voting doesn't work, then what do we do, Brandon? If you want to chime in again, sir, I would love to know that, as Mr. Silhouette, because I don't even know who the hell Brandon is. For all I know, Brandon could be what little Tink Tink said, some fat white man sitting in a basement in New York on a damn computer. I don't know who Brandon is. It's a damn Silhouette. But having said that, offer solutions. I mean, that's what I do. Whether you agree with my solution or not,
absolutely,
your agreement's not required. But I offer what I think might be helpful. And while, maybe I don't have all the ideas or the best ideas, I think, we got to try something, because insanity is, when you do the same thing, nothing but complain and expect a different outcome. So that's what I'm about. That's why we're here. We're looking for something that we can start today for the next election, 2014. If y'all want to know, if y'all think we need our own party, create one. If you don't like what's going on in your town, if you don't like the organizations that are there, start one. Or if there's some that are doing something that resonates with you, get on it. But we all have a vote. We all have a part to play, right?
Yes. And, in our own way, stand up is a form of coming up with a solution. And, and I have to be, I saw where 50 cents, or $50, whatever he wants to be called, and as well as Ice Cube, whatever their views are, one thing I'm grateful to them too is because it's created controversy and it's created a dialogue. So that is positive, because now we can talk about what it is we want to do. as a result of what they're sharing. You know, whether they vote for Trump or not really doesn't matter. You know, I just hope what this does is this sparks curiosity, and it compels people to do research and find out why we should vote and really look at the issues. Don't just say, oh, Trump, you know, well, Tink Tink's a racist, or, you know, these guys are sellouts. It doesn't really matter. Make an intelligent decision to say, you know what? What's the best thing, the minimum, the least thing I can do for my people? You know, and that's if you truly love your people. You know, voting doesn't really take anything but your time. You know, some of y'all watch Netflix more. You know, spend 3-4 hours watching Netflix. You know, why not take an hour and go down there and vote? Because there are some Black people in our past who died for wanting to vote, for trying to vote. There were militias who were standing by at the polling booths with shotguns and rope and vehicles to drag your ass around the corner if you even tried to vote or thought about voting. So let's do something selfless. Let's get out there and vote for one of them. You know, children were hanged, you know, lynched. Women, pregnant women, do your history. You'll find out there were some serious repercussions for voting. If you wanted to get out there and try to vote as a Black person, let's stand Black and let's stand up this time.
Absolutely.
We can create an incredible wave this time. Only 60% of the Black vote happened with Trump. Obama. Can you imagine this time, the most important time in history, if 80% can't get out there? Woo!
I saw the same news you saw.
Yeah.
I saw him say that. Yeah.
That was empowering. And I was
Yeah,
like, you know, this time, let's not just say, you know, because I think what happened is a lot of us said Obama's going to take care of it. We good. But no, let's get, you know, Kamala and Biden in there and then hold them accountable while they're in there. Let's send letters. You know, let's go to hearings. Let's say, okay, y'all said y'all was going to do this. Let's do this for affordable housing and affordable health care and prison reform and all these things we need. You know, when you look at the prison system and 50% of our men, our Black brothers, 50% of prisons or higher in some places are us. You can't tell me that's not institutionalized. It's impossible with only being 13%. So let's do something selfless, you know, instead of being selfish and saying, you know what, nah, I ain't gonna do it just because, you know, the Electoral College. Do you understand how the Electoral College really works? You know,
I get a lot of, I see a lot of responses that voting doesn't matter because, you know, the Electoral College. What people don't understand about the Electoral College is that every state is given a certain number of electoral votes.
Yes.
And the way you get the electoral votes per state is you win the popular vote. Exactly. So the reason that little Tink Tink was able to win in 2016 is because he had more votes in those crucial key states because people were disenfranchised or they were backbiting and fighting one another over his opponent. And in many places, it's been talked about statistically, he was only able to win by 1 or 2 votes not cast per precinct in several states. Yes. Very slim margin. And so that's why it's important to vote, because if you win the popular vote in Wisconsin or Michigan or Pennsylvania or Arizona, the places where the Democrats lost last year, you get those all important electoral votes.
Yes.
So votes are votes. But let me say something, because I don't often have the benefit of being able to respond to your comments. Patrice, you said we should start our own party. I hear a lot of that. I stay in my lane. I talk about what I know. Police, I know it. I wouldn't even have an idea how to start a political party. I would be interested in knowing, and if there are some of you out there who know what that process is. You know, when you say we should start our own political party, could you just add a sentence or two about what that looks like? How does one go about it? Who do you talk to? Where do you go? How do you start a political party? So that we can start making steps in that direction. Because it sounds sexy to say it. Yeah, fuck that. Let's start our own party. And then I look back and, you know, ain't nobody behind me but Jamie. So it would be nice to know what that is. Let's stop talking in generalities. Let's start talking with some specificity, some detail about what it is we really need to do come 2024 to bring about substantive change. Bernard, you said, why can't we do both? Vote and keep pushing for more. General, vote and keep pushing for more. What does that mean, Bernard? Tell me. You know, I'm stupid. So I need you to tell me what that is in layman's terms, in a way that I can understand, and maybe someone else who's watching can benefit from it. 2 or 3 can come together somewhere and start figuring out how to create that political party, because clearly it's going to have to be a state by state situation, right? You're going to need, I would imagine, party heads, party leaders, party chairmen to bring in others. So we need to start having those kinds of conversations now. While I'm saying that to you, I don't know, Jamie, if you can see the comments that I can see, but
no, I can't.
But you can. You might click on the comment button on the right-hand side. Old people, we got to talk for a minute. There's a little to the right side of your screen. You should see private and comments. If you click on comments, you'll at least be able to see what everyone is saying, and you can, if you see something you want to respond to, you can. Someone was asking again, because I know some of you are brand new, so I'm going to stand up and let you see the reason for this special report is because we want to empower, encourage, get you involved and engaged. And I've come up with the T-shirt fairy and my partner Jamie with a response to Lil Tink Tink and his stand by, stand back, or stand back, stand by. So Jamie, tell them again, those who are just joining, what this is all about, as I show them our emblem.
She like showing that emblem. I love it. I love it. It looks great. Stand black and stand by very, it's very
stand
clear.
Black, stand up. Stand black, stand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got confused thinking about that other stuff. Anyway, stand black, stand up. It means exactly what it says. It means we're going to stand black together and we're going to stand up together. That's what the unity is about. It's about unity. And whatever we can do to unify, the time is now to do it. We need to continue to unify and stand black. We can't let the Proud Boys, or whatever they want to call themselves, intimidate us. We can't let the Klan intimidate us. We need to have that Haitian mindset. And what made the Haitians so powerful is they utilized their black power, which is what that BP stands for. And the Haitians were willing to burn their own house down. And that's how they were not able to be enslaved. We don't want to be enslaved anymore. That time is up. That era is gone, you know, and that fear, get rid of that fear. You know, we have this fear that, oh, we're afraid what will happen, what will happen. No, we need to take on the spirit of Marcus Garvey and Nat Turner. And we need to just embolden ourselves with that black power that got us through slavery, got us through Jim Crow, got us through the civil rights movement, got us through the hell that our ancestors went through to get here. We can tap into that. We are going to be able to come together and be a force to be reckoned with. No problem. I have no doubt. We are some of the most creative and powerful people on this planet, you know? And if we weren't here, this planet would be completely different than what it is. We are a necessary need to the humanity. We really are. I love my people. I love Black people. Whatever we can to embolden ourselves and to take on an African mindset. And we can do that. We can do that. We can get out of this assimilation mindset and this and go into some Black identity and go into an African identity. I'm telling you, we got Queen Nzinga here. She inspired me. That's how I reached out to her. I saw her and I said, woo, she's spitting fire with a smile. And your agreement isn't required. So I was inspired by that. So I'm hoping that this shirt will inspire some people, because I'm telling you, I'm going to be documenting every time I wear it and the responses I get. And I'm going to be ready to dialogue and converse with anyone who's offended by it, because I ain't scared. And that's what this is really about. We can't afford to be scared anymore. We got to stand up and strengthen up and look racism in its face and defeat it like we have in the past. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm passionate about it, you know. And so I wear black all the time. I started doing that years ago. And because I love black, I love my people, doing my research on them back to the Kemetic days, 10,000 years ago. You know, we are a powerful people, and we need to just remember ourselves and remember where we come from. And we need to utilize that power to make changes for our children, our grandchildren, great-grandchildren to come.
You know, somebody was asking about the Electoral College and, you know, who makes it up, who's on it. So here's what I want to say to those of you who have questions. Do your due diligence. Don't sit around and wait for me or anybody else to regurgitate into your mouth what you're capable of figuring out for yourself. Even when I say something, I always encourage, because, you know, sometimes I get ahead of myself, and a couple of you guys have been correcting me because I was talking about Chief David Brown over in Chicago, came from Houston. I know he came from Dallas PD, but sometimes I get ahead of myself, and I said he came from Houston PD, and y'all corrected me. I appreciate it. He came from Dallas, Sarge. That was a faux pas. I know I got it wrong. I don't get it right all the time. And that's why when I say something, I'm like, don't take my word for it. I'm telling you what I think based on, you know, 20 years of doing a thing, but that don't mean I got it right all the time. I try. So, you know, do your own research. Know for yourself. Don't be sheeple. Don't take what I say, what Jamie says, or anybody else. Ice Cube. Don't take what anybody says. If you want to know how the Electoral College works, the internet is an amazing thing. When I was, you know, a little person, you know, I had an Encyclopedia Britannica. I had to crack open and blow the dust off and figure out stuff.
Yeah.
You guys have it so much better now. There's so much information right there at your fingertips. And so what I did want you to know, the point that I was trying to make, is that each state assigns a certain number depending on who wins that state. And that's why last time we were, at least I was, sitting there with my state map checking off, you know, okay, they got so many votes for this state, so many votes for that state, trying to see who was going to be the first one to 270, I think is the total number that you need to get to. So know for yourself. Know for yourself. Do your own due diligence and find that out. And then once you know, then be a little spider and tentacle out and find others who have a thirst, who want to know, or who may be misinformed, and you need to help educate them and share that information with them. And let's begin this building block together, if you will. Wanted to address something else, because someone else had commented that, you know, it's been a lot of back and forth about, you know, Cube didn't meet with Lil Tink Tink. I know he didn't physically meet with Tink Tink. He met with his campaign. When you meet with somebody's campaign, that's the candidate. You know, anybody who's ever had a real job, you understand the person at the top, you know, don't have time to do some of that ancillary stuff. And so they have minion, surrogates, staffers, you know, anybody in the military, you understand chain of command, right? And so nobody can speak for the head of an organization without that head's approval. Typically, you're not going to find anybody going out and saying anything on behalf of the president of the United States without the president having given them the okay to meet with that person. And so who he spoke to is really irrelevant. The fact that he spoke to them is not, for me, problematic in so much as he did it 10 or 12 days before an election. And I think when I said, because a lot of you were coming on my channel saying, how did he get got? How did he get played? When I said that, what I meant was Ice Cube gave them an opportunity to use him. And I don't think that that was his intent when he sat down with whoever he sat down with. The moment he sat down with them, what did they do? They sent one of the surrogates out to say, hey, guess who we just talked to? Thank you, Cube. We talked to Cube. Appreciate you, Cube. Glad you're working with us, Cube. And that was an opportunity for them to put his name out there in a way that he probably didn't even want done and appreciated. If he wanted us to all know he had met with them, I would imagine he could have come out and said, let me tell you who I met with today and what we talked about. But the fact that he met with them gave them the opportunity to now use that. And we know that they were being opportunistic because now they didn't cobble together some damn Photoshop picture of him and 50 Cent wearing a MAGA hat. And Cube has had to come out and do more up on aisle 7 to say that that's not me.
Right.
That's not me. So that was what I meant when I said he got played. He gave them an opportunity. He gave them, they had the gun, so to speak, metaphorically. Hold on, don't lose your shit. And he gave them the chance to pretend as though he was down. And he wasn't. And I'm not in his heart. I'm not in his head. I don't know the man, although I did do security for him once. Cube, do you remember that at the Beverly Center? I was working security, LAPD, retired. Anyway, yeah, that was me.
Wow.
Chris Tucker was there. I was behind the scenes. Anyway, so I don't know Cube personally, and I don't know his heart. I don't know his intent, and I don't even pretend to speak to it. I will give my brother the benefit of the doubt because what I don't like to do is black on black crime. Well, unless it's Attorney General Dan Cameron or David Brown or
my God,
a couple others I could rattle off, right? Then I'm good with it. But I just think he put himself in a position where they could use his name in a way that he hadn't intended for them to use it. And had he just waited 10 more, 12 more days, what the hell? What's the hurry?
Yes.
Because the other thing is, and you tell me, if Lil Tink Tink doesn't win, the meeting was moot.
Right.
And if Lil Tink Tink wins and they flip the Senate and it's democratically controlled, the meeting may very well still be moot. So my thing was, why not just wait and see who's going to be in a position to maybe do some of this stuff and then sit down and have a conversation with the person who could really maybe get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been looking at some of the comments and there's some great comments here. One of them I want to point it out was the one brother said, we can't fear death. And that's a pretty profound statement. I mean, it sounds simple, but that's true. You can't, Trump, Tink Tink said a while back, what do you have to lose? And when you understand what he's saying, he's basically saying that you don't matter. And so what we're saying now is that we're going to show them how much we do matter. And fear is a part of the human makeup. We don't really realize it, but fear is a part of our everyday activity. If you fear being late to work, you fear what somebody might say about what you have on. You fear, but what you do to resolve those fears, once you come up with a solution, that fear disappears. And we have to use that in every area of our lives. We have to do whatever we fear, we have to say, okay, I fear that this might happen. So what am I going to do to prevent that fear from becoming my reality? And then once we do that, then we can use fear constructively because we can't get rid of fear. Fear is going to always be here. We just need to use it in a positive sense. And when you know what fear really represents, which is really it's a motivator, then we can fight this war. We can fight this war and we can win it if we continue to stand against adversity. And once we move past this, when we stand against adversity, when we get Biden and Kamala into office, we can hold them accountable. We just don't give up. We just can't say, okay, cool. Now we have in there someone other than Tink Tink. We got to hold them accountable. So whatever our needs are, we need to present them to the powers that be to make sure they follow through on what was promised. What I do like about what they said is that they were willing to talk about it afterwards. I understand that. But let's hold them accountable if that happens. Once they get in, and not just say, okay, they said they were going to do it. You know, Black people have a tendency to allow others to take care of us sometimes, and it comes at our loss. So we have to stand up now and say, okay, we're going to do something to make sure that they follow through on what our needs are and the promises they made in order to earn our vote. So once they earn our vote, then we can hold them accountable. But if we don't vote, we can't complain about anything. We just have to accept what is, and it'll be our fault. So I'm with standing Black, and I'm with standing up, because I've pretty much had enough of the trampling of my people for no other reason than their skin tone. Unacceptable, no longer.
And you know, when we talk about voting, you know, because all politics are local, right? The important stuff. And again, I'm staying in my lane. So, you know, I'm singularly focused on police reform, police accountability, justice for families who've lost loved ones at the hands of errant officers. That's where I am. I'm singularly focused on that. That's what I know. And when we have here in Los Angeles a district attorney, Jackie Lacey, who I heard today on the radio, she's fighting for her political career. Some of you may have district attorneys who are up for re-election, like Attorney General Daniel Cameron in Kentucky, who will one day be up for election, you know, and you'll have an opportunity to get involved and get engaged. Voting does matter. This lady right now is wanting another term, and she has never, Jackie Lacey here in Los Angeles, district attorney, has never seen a police shooting, apparently, seemingly, allegedly, that she can't get excited about. Jackie Lacey also has had California police law enforcement unions pump $3 million into her campaign. So you understand, if Jackie Lacey is doing that here, this is not unique to Los Angeles, I'm certain. There are unions who pay these politicians, and that's something that you guys can get involved in where you live. Putting an end to police unions being able to pay into the campaigns of politicians who, of course, when it's time to get a politician to prosecute a police officer for using deadly force first rather than last, like we're taught, they're not going to prosecute those officers. I just got $3 million from the police union. I can't prosecute police officers. Are you kidding me? That's something that should be changed. That's something that could be worked on. That's something that's going to take legislation, engagement, involvement, standing Black and standing up to fix. Yes. And so while you naysayers may say voting don't help, again, please don't tell me what doesn't work if you can't tell me what will work in its place.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm seeing some of the comments, and somebody commented that the same thing was offered to the Democrats. I mean, I really think you need to do some more research on that. It's not so much that the same thing was offered. It's really what the whole idea was about. You know, Ice Cube was used. And the fact that he was used, I don't think he really knew the extent of what was about to happen and how it was going to be used against him. So whether he offered it or not, the way it was presented, as if he was siding with, quote unquote, the enemy. And that's what the enemies use. I mean, you can look at what Trump has done. I'm sorry, I keep saying Tink has done over the 4 years.
More importantly, what he hasn't done. More importantly, what he hasn't done.
And right? It's so funny because he talks about how he's done as much as Lincoln. And the fact of the matter is, if you all did your research, you'd understand that Lincoln didn't do anything for us either. We had that's been something that needs to be investigated on your own parts, because this is not about the history, but just to sum it up. You know, there was a Black major by the name of Martin R. Delaney, and he helped to recruit 179,000 soldiers, black soldiers who were willing to fight in the Civil War. And it was those brothers and some sisters too. Some of the sisters dressed up as men to fight this war. And that's what freed us, because Lincoln said, he said, if he didn't have to let a slave go and keep everything maintain the status quo, he would do it. That's not freeing. That's not freeing us. He wasn't interested in freeing us. He was interested in winning this war, or trying to avoid a war. And so when you do the research on that, you understand that Lincoln wasn't really about that. He was against slavery, but not abolishing slavery. And if you do some more research, you'll find out that Donald Trump didn't even know what he was talking about when he stated that. And then 50 Cent, he basically told us what it was about. It was about taxes. It wasn't about black people. So that tells you a little bit about him. He wasn't worried about the plight of black people. He was worried about how much money he was going to have to pay in taxes. So that's a statement about him. But the time's up for that. We need people to tap into that love. We need to tap into that love for each other. We really have, when we show up and, we see Medea and we going to church on Sundays and, we're doing all these things that we love about each other. Well, that's what we have to lose with a Trump era, another Trump, for another 4 years. We have that to lose, because if you really look at what's he has on the table prepared for us, we can't afford it. We've come too far. So we need to really come together and stand black and stand up and say, we ain't scared. We ain't scared, because guess what? If something happened to where I get killed or something like that, I ain't gonna know when I die. So I ain't got no problems. I ain't worried about it. If you don't have anything that you're willing to die for, it's gonna be hard to live. And so I don't have a problem with that. I often said that if I remember when I prayed one time, I said, you know what, Father, if racism could go away with my death, I'm willing to go now. And I said that prayer years ago. And that's how I feel about it, because that's the number one problem facing this world, is me thinking I'm better than you because of my skin color, when it's really fear-based. So anyway, I'm ready.
Let me say this, because there's a lot of whataboutism, and I don't do that either. I'm not excited about either one of these candidates.
Right.
I'm not excited about any politician, because actually they all say what they need to in the moment. Yes. And that's just my position. But we're gonna have one of them. Know that one of them is gonna be president. And so again, I'm not trying to tell you guys who to vote for. I'm not telling you to vote. If not voting works for you, I promise you it works for me. I just wanted to come to you and just really be a unifying voice, if you will. Share with you our thoughts, the rationale and reason behind Stand Black, Stand Up. You'll be seeing it on my social media platforms. I've already shared, for those of you who might want either a t-shirt, a crew neck, or a hoodie, you can go to CherylDorsey.com. I got so many damn websites right now. I got all these damn domains, and they all in one place. So you can go to Sgt Dorsey Speaks. You could go to Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. You could go to CherylDorsey.com. You could go to YourAgreementIsNotRequired.com. And pretty soon you'll be able to go to StandBlackStandUp.com and be part of the solution. Let's not spend these next few days before this election fighting and clawing at one another, because I think come November 5th or 6th, y'all, all you really need to do is just get you a big bottle of Orville Redenbacher and just sit back and just stay out of their business. We need to be unified. We need to be together.
That's right.
And we need to start working on those things that we say are so important for 2024. Because 2020 is a wrap. It's over. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't nothing gonna get done. And there's gonna be a whole lot of stuff, I believe, that's gonna get undone if Lil Tink Tink loses between November 4th and January 20th. It's gonna be bananas. I'm here for it. I can't wait. I have got to step away, because Court TV is calling me. I usually do
Oh,
a stint every Wednesday night with Biddy Politan on Court TV, so I've got to go into my
bring it.
what is it? What did Clark Kent do? A phone booth. Yeah, I got to go into my
Yes.
phone booth and get out of my stand black, stand up garb and get corporate and give them CNN, Cheryl, and tell them, you
Right.
know, what
There
it
you
is I
go.
think. Yeah. So
Get out the
thank you so much,
buzzword.
Jamie, for coming on. I appreciate you. We will come on again and just chop it up and talk. And for those of you who came in late and don't know, if you ever seen the Whispers,
The
right?
whispers. The
If you ever seen
whisper.
the Whispers, and if you ever said, "Damn, that bass player is fine as hell," that was Jamie. That was him.
There we go.
I appreciate
There
you,
we
my
go. And
brother.
the
Thank
beat
you
goes
so much.
on.
Thank you, family, subbies,
Yes, sir.
kinfolk, for stopping by to see what we have to say. CherylDorsey.com. If you need this shirt in your life, I will be giving the first 50 purchasers $10 off. There's going to be a coupon on my website. So if it's not set up yet, it's because my webmaster is he's still in the lab working on it. But when you go to purchase Stand Black, Stand Up, there'll be a $10 off for anyone who gets the sweatshirt, Crewneck sweatshirt, or the hoodie. Black only is what it comes in. So know that. And I may see you good people tomorrow because Thursday is our normal night to get together. Until then, family, you guys be good, be safe. Be sure to stand black
Stand up.
and stand up.
Love it.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
That's what's up.